This is Top Accolade Global News Updates. I am Soybifa Jackridge. President Joe Biden on Thursday laid out his case for re-election in a fairly State of the Union speech that accused Donald Trump of threatening democracy, kowtowing to Russia, and torpedoing a bill to tackle U.S. immigration woes. In a 68-minute address to Congress, Biden, a Democrat, drew sharp contrast with a Republican rival and gamely challenged Trump's supporters in the chamber during a speech that was watched as much for the 81-year-old president's performance as it was for his policy proposals. Biden charged Trump, the Republican challenger, in the November 5th election with burying the truth about January 6, 2021. Capital assaults, bowing to Russian President Vladimir Putin, and blocking a bill to tighten restrictions at the U.S. border with Mexico. On the Middle East, the president said he had been working for an immediate ceasefire to last 6 weeks between Hamas militants and Israel, and he warned Israel against using aid to Gaza as a bargaining chip. The greater thrust of his remark focused on Trump. Biden opened by declaring democracy on the threat at home and abroad and criticizing Trump for inviting Putin to invade NATO nations if they did not spend more on defense. Biden, who pressed Congress to provide additional funding to Ukraine for its war with Russia, also had a message for Putin. "We will not walk away." Trump, in a response to his Truth Social platform, responded with criticism of Biden. He said, "I bowed down to the Russian leader. He gave them everything, including Ukraine," he said. The speech gave Biden, who is suffering from low approval ratings, a chance to speak directly to millions of American television viewers about his vision for another 4-year term. South Korea's antitrust agency will consider imposing sanctions on Meta platforms for allegedly failing to protect some users of online marketplaces operated by Facebook and Instagram against fraudulent actions. News reports said on Friday, the Korean Fair Trade Commission (FTC) had investigated possible violations of the country's e-commerce law and had sent an examination report to Meta late last year. Yonhap News and the Dong Alibo newspaper reported, citing unnamed sources. The report is a step before the agency's commissioner meets to consider the findings and formally decide on measures. The agency alleged Meta has failed to implement adequate measures to protect and provide a remedy to users of Facebook and Instagram marketplaces when disputes arose over sales transactions. As required for e-commerce outlets, Yonhap said the FTC declined to confirm the report, citing its policy of not commenting on an ongoing investigation. Meta did not immediately respond to a request for comment, while Facebook and Instagram are social media platforms are not registered as e-commerce. As e-commerce businesses, the marketplace they operate effectively require them to comply with the law, Yonhap said. The news report came after a South Korean consumer protection watchdog was said it was reviewing the practices of major overseas shopping platforms, including Alibaba's. The International Monetary Fund (IMF) will support formulating a new economic program for Pakistan if the new government seeks one, a spokesperson for the lender said on Friday. Encouraging fair resolution of all electoral disputes, the cash-strapped nation grappled with an uncertain February 8 election that delayed formation of a coalition government until new Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif was sworn in on Monday. Though a new finance minister has yet to be decided, the reference was to a $3 billion standby agreement Pakistan secured last summer from the IMF, though the country has been struggling with record inflation, currency devaluation, and shrinking foreign reserves. The party of jailed former Prime Minister Imran Khan asked the IMF last month to ensure an audit of the disputed February election before any more bailout talks with Islamabad. The IMF said that while it did not comment on domestic political developments, it encouraged a fair and peaceful resolution of all electoral disputes, given the importance of institutional environment for economic stability and growth. Japan Japanese manga comic creator Akira Toriyama, best known for his Dragon Ball series that spawned widely popular films, video games and TV shows, died on March 1st from a blood clot in his brain. His production studio said on Friday he was 68. It's our deep regret that he still had several works in the middle of creation with great enthusiasm, the studio said in a statement posted on the official Dragon Ball website. We hope that Akira Toriyama's unique world of creation continue to be loved by everyone for a long time to come. Dragon Ball was first serialized in weekly Shonen Jump comic magazine in 1984 and was later adapted into movies, video games and TV series distributed in more than 80 countries. Toriyama was also known as a character and monster design of the blockbuster role-playing game series Dragon Quest. Many fans and Japan's top government spokesman Yoshimasa Hayashi paid tribute to Toriyama and the global influence of his work. We will never forget Akira Toriyama for the gift he left on this earth. I can't imagine a world without Dragon Ball, a fan wrote in section below the post. Mobile shares hit record highs on Friday as investors bet on transatlantic interest rate cuts starting within months and hoped the U.S. payroll services numbers before the opening bell on Wall Street points to continued resilience, but not overheating in the U.S. economy. The U.S. Federal Reserve and the European Central Bank this week left markets expecting rate cuts beginning in the summer, putting downward pressure on U.S. government bond yields. The dollar headed for its sharpest weekly drop of the year on the growing likelihood of lower borrowing costs later in the year, while the yen gained on mounting speculations of a rate rise in Japan. Crude oil prices rose on signs of growing demand in the United States and China, while gold hit a record high, enjoying its best week in 5 months. The MSCI All Country Stock Index was up 0.2% near its record high of 774.66 points from earlier in the section. A year ago, investors were staring down the barrel of a U.S. banking crisis and worries about credit. But since then, tech stocks have pushed stock indexes to record highs on the back of an AI boom, said Patrick Spencer, Harry W. Baird Vice Chair of Equities. German bond yields were on track to record their biggest weekly fall since mid-December on raised bets of an ECB cut in rates. That is the size of top accolade global news updates. You can follow us on our social media platforms as displayed on your screen. Happy International Women's Day.